how do you go about making difficult decisions, so difficult that they feel impossible to make? And how do you go about achieving goals that are so ambitious that they might feel like it's impossible goals? Hi, my name is Dr. Alan Barnard. I'm CEO of Golden Research Labs. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a very, very exciting announcement regarding my own progress in terms of helping people and organizations achieve these two goals, helping them make what feels like impossible decisions and helping them achieve what feels like impossible goals. Before I show you the really exciting breakthrough, I want to just give you a framework that you can use maybe to think about your own life goal. So there's kind of the following parts to it. The first part is, what is the life goal? In my case, helping more and more people make better, faster decisions when it really matters, helping them achieve goals that feel like they're impossible goals. So that's the goal part. The second part is the problem. What are the problems that you have to solve to help you achieve your life goal? And as soon as I started looking at decision making and goal achievement, I realized that we face three major obstacles. The first one relates to the fact that making a decision, achieving a goal is hard work. You have to look for the decision making side. What's the issue? What's all the options you have, the pros and cons of all the options? You have to come up with some win-win to give you all the pros, none of the cons. You have to deal with all the objections or reservations of clients. It's hard work to think about all of that stuff. When it comes to goal achievement, you have to be very clear about the goal. You have to identify what are all the necessary and sufficient changes to get you there, break it down into actionable information, clearly sequence so you know what to do next. It takes hard work. We try to avoid hard work. So guess what? We try to find all excuses to not make decisions and not to plan the achievement of our goals. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is that, considering the fact that we have so many problems, so many opportunities, we get easily overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed, we often don't even know where to start. And then the third one is, there's the fear element. There is the fact that we not only fear failure, but we also fear success. Why? Because we know we have biases, we have blind spots, and that we'll never have all the information, we can never predict accurately what will happen, etc. So those are three main problems that are blocking people from doing the necessary thinking to make better decisions, doing the necessary thinking and planning to achieve goals. So that's the second part. So we have the life goal. What's the problems that make it hard for you to achieve that life goal? What problems do you have to solve? The third element is, what is your unique solution? How are you practically going to solve these problems? And I realized very early on in my journey that it's going to require 5 components, and that I gave myself about 10 years to do it. I thought that would be really, really good if I could, but probably it will take a little bit longer. Well, I'm now 15 years, going on 15 years, and I think I've found the final part of the solution. So there's 5 parts. So also think about your life goal. What's the problem you have to solve to achieve that life goal? What's the solution components? In my case, there's 5 solution components. The first one is, I realized that even though there are many decision-making methods out there, each one of these methods, whether it's Benjamin Franklin's pro-con list or Dr. Ellie Goldratt's evaporating clouds and many others, they all have benefits, but they also all have limitations. I have to come up with a method that keeps their benefits but addresses their limitations. In the same way with goal achievement, there are a lot of methods out there to help you design and plan and execute the changes that are needed to achieve very ambitious goals. They include things like strategy mapping, based on Kaplan's work and balanced scorecard, strategy and tactic trees, Dr. Ellie Goldratt's work, the work around critical chain and agile management, Kanban boards. All of these are methods. They all have their benefits, but they also have limitations. Sometimes the limitation is that you have to use all of them, but you have to decide in which sequence. So I knew that I as part of the first part of my breakthrough contribution is develop simple but powerful methods for decision-making goal achievement that keeps the benefits of previous methods but addresses their limitations. Second solution component is that once you've developed the method, you have to start testing it. And one of the best ways to test it is not just you teaching people to use the method and seeing the outcome, but seeing if you could train others. So training coaches, for example, to use the same method and see if they get similar results than what you have gotten. So test the method, train coaches, let them test it, see if their outcome stays positive. That's solution component number 2. Number 3 is start building a community of users that have used the method and that would be willing to share what they are doing, both for social proof, which is really important. If it's some kind of new method, you need users out there that says, yes, I've tried it, it works, it's simple, it's fast, it's better than anything I've done before. So that was the third part, to start building a community. The fourth part is once you have those first 3 things, you are getting ready to make the investment, which is by far the biggest investment would be to develop an app. The app will essentially help people follow the process so they don't have to remember it. It will help the coaches scale because they can use the app to guide their students or their customers through it. And the app will make it easy to share your analysis, whether it's a decision that you've analyzed or a goal that you've analyzed. It can help you to share it with the community. So that's the app part. That's number 4. Number 5 is, what if all of that is not enough? And as I mentioned, part of the biggest obstacle is the fact that regardless of how simple you make the methods for decision making or goal achievement, it takes hard work, and we all try our best to avoid hard work because we know about the vicious cycle, right? You kind of don't want to do it because it's hard work, so you keep on procrastinating. Then suddenly you run out of time. You have to make a decision. You have to decide what to do next to achieve the goal. You often end up doing the wrong thing or overreacting. You have to deal with the consequences of that. Makes you even more risk averse, and you procrastinate even more. It's hard to break that cycle. So what do we need? The 5th component is, can we get AI to help us when we get stuck? When we can't get access to a coach or an experienced coach, where there's nobody in the community that has faced this decision or solved this problem, or simply maybe I don't want to share with anybody the decision I'm facing or the goal I'm trying to achieve, but I want expert help. And that's the announcement I'm going to be making today, is I have finally succeeded in number 5. I've created a ChatGPT version of the Harmony Decision Maker app that guides you through the 5 steps of the Procon Cloud method that I've developed, that I believe is a real breakthrough. It combines the best of the Procon list with the best of the Gold Rates Evaporating Cloud, keeps those benefits but addresses their limitations into a simple 5-step process. And we've been testing it for a very long time, and it delivers real results. On the other side, which is the goal achievement side, is I've taken the strategy and tactic tree method that Goldratt developed. I added to that the best of the strategy mapping from Balanced Scorecard, the best of Agile and CCPM, and also the auditing side. And I created the Harmony Changemaker app. And now what we are able to do is I've created AI versions of these 2 apps. And I can't wait to show you. Before I do that, let me just quickly show you what the 2 methods look like. So let me start with the Procon Cloud method. Basically just 5 steps. What's the problem? So you're being asked, what's the problem and why is it important to you and to others that you care about or to the organization, to prevent the mistake of wasting our limited attention dealing with unimportant problems. Step 2 then is to say, I have the problem, what's the solution? And recognizing that the solution is one side of a conflict. If the status quo is still an option, then it would be a conflict between change, don't change. If the status quo is no longer an option, it would be between change A, which would be the solution, change B would be an alternative solution. And each of those have pros and cons. Step 3 would be to come up with a real innovation that keeps all the pros without any of the cons And the Procon Cloud lets you explore 4 different options: change plus plus, not change plus plus, when and when not, and another change, to come up with a real breakthrough, to prevent the mistake of focusing on only one resolution or compromising. And then step 4, as an added safety net, you've come up with an innovation. You don't just want the solution to be an innovation, which is a solution without trade-offs. You want it to be also one that will be adopted by the people that have to implement it. And one of the best ways of doing that is you let them raise all their objections, all their reservations, all their yes buts, but then ask them to tell you for every yes but what's the yes and you add that to your innovation. And that's to avoid the mistake of ignoring valid reservations or using them as excuses. And then the last step is to basically summarize that whole analysis into a little experiment. Why change, what to change, I want all the pros and cons, and how I'm going to do it at change plus plus plus. So that's the Procon Cloud method, and the final step in the app is just allowing you to measure progress. So let's go to the strategy and tactic tree. Also 5 steps. Start off with your ambitious target, like 10x your net profit. Build a strategy and tactic tree structure. Multiple levels. Level 1 is the goal that you're trying to achieve. Level 2 are the necessary conditions for that goal. Level 3 is the necessary conditions for level 2.1. That's to avoid a mistake of not having a goal that's ambitious enough, or defining it but spreading yourself too thin, trying to do everything all at once. This has got a clear direction of execution. Start on the left, first do that, get it done, no multitasking, then do 3.1.2, etc. Once you've done that, you have to take the time to take each of those changes on that tree and open it up and say, why is this change needed? What's the objective that we're trying to achieve? What makes it difficult but possible? How are we going to do it? And that is essentially listing down the necessary assumptions, the strategy, the viability assumptions, the tactic. You can see it's hard work to define this for every single change. That's why I'm so excited about the AI side. Step 3 is then to say, let me take that hierarchical structure. It's not going to implement itself. The only way to get it implemented is to convert it into a project plan, like in this, and to add in project buffers, feeding buffers, so using CCPM, and then monitoring the execution using Agile Kanban board, Fever chart, and using the SMT as a dashboard to see how am I doing with achieving every strategy or implementing every tactic. And then the final step is doing an audit. If I'm not achieving a strategy or not implementing a tactic, then what's the conflict I face? And that's where the Procon Cloud sort of closes the loop again. So those are my 2 methods, the Procon Cloud method and the SMT tree method. And what I want to do now is to show you the exciting part of the AI. So if you go to Explore GPTs and you put in Harmony AI, you should find Harmony AI Decision Maker. And a way to recognize this, it will have this little Procon Cloud logo on it. And search Harmony AI SMT Builder. So those are the 2 GPT apps that I'm releasing today. It's completely free for you to try it out. Bear in mind it's beta versions, but it is so cool. We've been testing it for the last couple of weeks. I had one of my friends stay over and we tested both on a real life case that he's facing around. The problem that he was facing is a hospital that was having too many patients suffer pretty bad injuries due to avoidable falls. What are the options, what's the decision they face, and how to resolve that conflict. And then we took the same problem, we turned it into a goal, and say our goal was to reduce the amount of avoidable falls by patients by 90% in the next year. Create a strategy and tactic tree for me. So once you've downloaded that app, you can add it here to the sidebar. And once you click on that, it will bring up this app. And basically you can see here, it starts off by saying, I can help you make better, faster decisions when it really matters. Do you face a personal or business decision? I'm going to say a business decision. And now it's starting to talk to me. And it says, I'm so happy to assist you with a business decision. To begin, could you share with me what's the problem? And essentially, the problem that I chose to work on is one that's related to a TOC consulting company. It says, most of my clients are not aware of TOC and the benefits it can bring. One of my students is a TOC consultant, and his business is sort of been stuck at about 500,000. It's him and two other people, and it's making a bit of money, but he's just not growing. And when I said to him, what's your number one problem? And he said, that's the number one problem. And you can see here, as soon as we type that in, Harmony AI Decision Maker starts saying, thank you for sharing. Let me restate your answer and start working through the decision-making process. And it start answering each of these questions. For step one, my or our problem, most of our clients are not aware. Now I will answer the next two questions. What's the impact on me? If this problem is not resolved, it negatively impacts you by limiting your ability to fully demonstrate the value of TOC to your clients. And that means that it's limiting your ability to grow. It's this constraint. Why is it bad for others? For your client, the lack of awareness means that they continue to miss out on the potential improvements. I am stunned by how good it is. And the more details you give of who the person is with the problem, the better it gets these answers. So then it asks you, do you want to edit? And in this case, you can edit and you can add or change either the problem statement or the impact on you or others. And ChatGPT will consider that input, the sort of human in the loop, which is very important when it gets to the next step. When you are testing, my advice to you is just let it do everything for you. And just see how bloody good it is. It is amazing how good it is. So in this case, I selected B, just continue with the step. And now it goes and it does step 2, which is what is my decision or our decision. And it will ask you, is doing nothing or maintaining the status quo still an option for you? If it is, then it's going to be change, no change. If it's not, then it will be change A versus change B. I said it's not. And then it will list down change A and change B. And if it only asks you the questions, you can say, please give me your options. What do you think should be change A and change B? And it writes it out. Implement targeted educational content and workshops. You should develop an offer of a series of educational webinars, blog posts, case studies, and client success stories that specifically focus on explaining TOC and its benefit. Or as an alternative, you can offer TOC as part of a bundled consulting package. That's another solution. And it will list down all the pros and of each of these options. What's the goal that you're trying to achieve? What's the cons of each of the options? And you can see it is very, very detailed. And again, the more you describe who you are, who the stakeholders are, the better it will get. And it will again give you an option. Do you want to make edits to that or you want it to continue? I said, I want to continue. And it went through all my 4 options to resolve this conflict in a win-win way. Change A++, change B++, when and when not to change, another change. And then it would even select the best out of the 4 options based on which has the biggest upside and which has the smallest downside. And then it says, are you ready to continue? And you can go to the yes buts, and it will keep on doing the whole analysis for you. And at the end of the day, it will give you the option to export that analysis. And you simply click the export button. And let me just show you what that looks like. So you're going to click export, and basically this is what it will do. It will export that analysis that it's done, all the answers to the various questions in this little Excel format. Now what's super exciting, okay, this is pretty nice, but it's still kind of a list, right? I want to see it in the Procon Cloud format. And this is where the exciting part comes in, is we've added functionality that we're releasing today. Let's go back to the home, where you can simply import that Excel spreadsheet. Now, our next version that we're already working on is going to have the ChatGPT built into our app. At the moment, you're doing it in the ChatGPT app. You do the full analysis there. You click the final question it will ask you is, do you want to export this to Excel? You say yes. It will create that Excel sheet for you. Do you download it? And then you come here to your Harmony Changemaker app. For those that don't have it yet, you get a free 30-day trial. And if you subscribe, it's only like $3 a month. And it contains your own decision library. It has a community library where you can see all the decisions that the community of our users, which are tens of thousands around the world, some of them have shared their analysis, and you can look at those decisions and open it up and learn from others. But what we want to do is go back to that original menu and use this button, Import Decision. And we're going to choose the file, and we're going to select that Excel spreadsheet and say upload, and it will upload it. This is so cool. And we're going to just open it. And let's just open up in view mode. We hide all the details away. And there it is. And I can even show you the full analysis. This is what it looks like. So we have the whole 5 steps done by ChatGPT within a minute or two, and it's given us a great head start. I'm pretty experienced with the Procon Cloud method using my app. When I'm working on my own decisions or working with a client, it normally takes me maybe an hour or so to go through the whole analysis. For those that have just been trained, it takes maybe a couple of hours. But if you're really stuck and you just want to get help, you can use the ChatGPT in 2 ways. You can get it to do the whole analysis for you out of curiosity. And we played around this week with, how would you deal with the problem of gun control? Can you please do the Procon Cloud analysis for me on gun control? And it is remarkable what it comes up with. Or abortion, or all these really, really hard social problems to solve. We've taught ChatGPT how to think with this method. In the same way that a human being benefits from the method because it teaches them how to think, shows them the questions, and they answer the questions. Now we're supplementing that intuition with ChatGPT's intuition and knowledge. So the same thing is true on the Harmony S&T builder. So if I go to that one, you're basically going to get a similar type of user interface. It's going to say you need help with building a tree, and you can say, yes, I want to build an S&T tree for a theory of constraints implementation. It will ask you how many levels do you want it. You say 3 levels, and it will start building it. It will start off with the first step of the 5 steps of just showing you the hierarchical structure. So you can see in this case, implement TOC in a company, there's 5 level 2 activities or necessary conditions, and each one of them have got 3 children task of the details of how to actually go and do that. And you can say, yes, continue, please do the rest. And now it will, for each of those nodes, it will start answering the questions. What's the reason why this change is needed, the necessary assumption, what's the strategy, the objective of this change, what's the viability assumptions, what makes it difficult but possible to achieve it, and from that, what was the tactic that I selected. And it will keep on doing that. And the same thing is true. I'm going to go to my app, go back to the main library view. I'm going to be selecting the S&T libraries. So again, we've got, for those that haven't seen it before, in our public library, we have my own personal strategy and tactic tree templates that I've created from past ones that I've built that I can reuse with clients. We have all the strategy and tactic trees that Dr. Ellie Goldrat contributed, often down to level 4 and level 5. And we also have strategy and tactic trees that have been donated by Harmony Changemaker users that if you have a similar organization or goal, you can learn from them. But let me just show you how to import the one from the ChatGPT AI. Same thing. I have a button here that says import. I click on it for my TOC consulting company, and it's importing that decision. So I can click on that, view it, and there it is, the whole thing. And if you have the app, you can use it for all 5 steps. So let me just show you a little bit. So you have the financial analysis there. So in this financial analysis, for example, you can say, what is the target that I'm trying to achieve here? You can put in the low, likely, and high numbers, do the calculations, see by how much you need to grow your business. You have the validation option for each of these. Remember, it hasn't only given it a title. For each of them, if you double click on it, it's given you the full details of why this change is necessary, what are we trying to achieve, the strategy, why is it difficult but possible, and what's the best tactic to follow it. So it gives me all those details, but even more exciting is we have the planning module, which allows me to manage the resources, add all the resources, create some planning preferences, actually convert that strategy and tactic tree into a project plan. It will generate a Gantt chart for you based on traditional waterfall method with the local buffers. I can even click on create a critical chain project plan for me, removing all the buffers and adding it as a project buffer. And I can even do all the resource allocation and project costing right all in this app. So as I mentioned, we've tried to take all the other methods that's out there, keep their benefits. So I can see my fever chart here. I can use the S&T as a kind of a dashboard to see how things are going. I have my Kanban board that I can use here. And the final step is I can do an audit where I can say I'm having this problem, I'm not achieving the strategy, or I'm not implementing this tactic. What's the problem? What's the conflict? Getting back to the AI announcement, if please just go to Explore GPTs, you'll see it in there. So as a quick summary for you, my life goal, helping people make impossible decisions, help them achieve impossible goals. What's the problem that I realized quickly I had to solve is that regardless of which of these two, it takes hard work to do the analysis. And we try to avoid hard work, so we come up with excuses not to do it. We avoid it. It's also can be quite overwhelming, not even knowing where to start if I don't have a framework or method. And the third problem is that fear, right? I'm not just fearing failure, but I'm also fearing success. What's a solution? I realized that to solve this problem practically, I needed 5 components. I needed to develop a simple method for decision making and for goal achievement. A method that keeps the benefits of other methods, but addresses their limitations. Then I tested the method with real audiences to see if it helps them make breakthroughs. And then I trained other people that can facilitate using the Procon Cloud method and the S&T method. If you are interested to become certified there, please reach out to me and let me know. So that's the second part of the solution, is train others to test if they can get the same results than you do. The third part is creating a community. So the more users you have, let them share not only what works, but what's not working, what's causing friction. That helps you to keep on improving the method, but you can also use their positive feedback as social proof to encourage the adoption of more and more people of this breakthrough that you've made. And then once you really know that the method is working, it's trainable, people can follow it, they are giving feedback, then it's the right time to invest in building an app that will guide somebody through the method. So you don't have to remember the method. You don't need always a coach. You can do it yourself if a coach is not available, or maybe they're too expensive. And it also makes it easy. An app makes it easy to share your analysis or plan for goal achievement, your strategy and tactic tree with others, and even with the community if you want to contribute. And then the last component is, if regardless of all those 4 solutions, you still find that many people are either not trying it, or they're trying it but they don't complete it, or they complete it and they get the result but they don't try it again because it's so hard work, then use AI. Use AI to address all 3 of those problems. It can definitely help with the first part of the problem, which is you can see how much faster you can do it. Whereas it would have taken us maybe a couple of hours to do a full Procon Cloud analysis, it does it in minutes. And you have the choice of how you want it to help you. Do you want to answer the questions and let it check you? So if you do have biases or blind spots, it can help you correct it. Or do you simply want it to make recommendations for improvements? Or do you just want it to do the whole thing for you? And the same with the strategy and tactic tree. You can follow the method, try to do everything yourself, fill in the strategy and tactic tree template and ask ChatGPT to check it and see what's missing or what might not be necessary. Or now you can get it to do everything. So that's the call for action. Go now, download this Harmony AI Decision Maker, Harmony AI S&T Builder, add it to the sidebar of your ChatGPT so it's always accessible there. If you haven't yet subscribed to my Harmony Decision Maker and Harmony Change Maker apps, you can find them on harmonyapps.com. Both of them come with a free 30-day trial. You get all the functionality, all the libraries are in there, even Goldratt libraries are in there. And if you decide to continue after the 30-day trial, the Decision Maker is only around $3-4 a month. We've tried to keep it as affordable as possible. The Change Maker with all 5 of those components, including the critical chain project management and agile Kanban, all of that functionality is only around $8 a month per user. So I hope this was useful. I hope you're going to try it. I am super, super excited to start getting your feedback. And I'm looking forward to that feedback about what your experience was. Please do post on it. Tell me what you like. What do you think can be still improved? And try it out on some big social problems, but also some real problems or goals that matter a lot to you, that's the best way of testing it. Thank you so much for your time and attention.